Thank you for watching in advance. Please remember to subscribe to our channel. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our instructor for this video, Dr. Obi Anam.
Well, thank you very much for the intro. I would like to start by showing you an index of the functions within this package. Again, this is the RStudio package, and I'm going to be giving just a short introduction and possibilities of what you can do with this package as it is right now in version 1.1. So like I said, these are the functions within, but in a lot of cases I assume that you would mostly be using this function, or let's say this function when you need to transform the whole HTML. So for the purpose of this introduction and tutorial, I would like to quickly show you how to use this function, and the function to transform the entire document, just like I mentioned previously. Okay, so I'm going to get started with a document, an R Markdown document. And so I'll go to my RStudio here, and I'm going to start with a new file, and I'm just going to open a new R Markdown file. I'm just going to make it an untitled, just so we can get there faster. Okay, that's opened. Alright, that's my untitled document with untitled title. and I'm just going to start right away by showing you how to add some symbols. Okay, so if I want to add a symbol, say for example I wanted to add alpha and beta to parts of this document, I could use the same function. I could also use the symbol function, and I can use them in different ways, but basically these two functions are the same thing, and I'm just going to use the same because it's shorter. I like to use the short form, but I have the symbol function there just so you can use the long form if you wanted to. And so something we can do here is just go ahead and create a new R chunk, and I'm going to make it a very short one that simply just calls the R2 symbol package. And to get started, I can begin by just showing you simply how to get started with like just adding a symbol. So let's add this one right beneath, and so let's say same, let's say we want to call the alpha symbol. That's fine, and we can just go right ahead and save that. So right now I'm just gonna save that in my sample. So I'm just gonna save that somewhere here. So I have a folder created for this, so I'm just going to say sample 5. Okay, and that's my R Markdown there saved. Now that I've saved it, I am just going to create, I'm going to knit my document, and then I'm going to have it show up. So when that knits, this is simply what it looks like. Okay, so now that we have the basics out of the way, we can go on to a little bit more complicated stuff, where we can easily take advantage of other functionalities that this package offers. So one of the other things that you can do is start making settings. So adding settings such that you can add colors, you can add sizes to the symbols that you add into your document so that they stand a little bit more out. And this may come in a bit more handy when you're trying to use symbols like, let's say, not alpha, maybe not mathematical symbols, maybe you're trying to use symbols like heart. Then you'll be able to make it bigger, make it red or something like that. So I'll show that in a second. But before I get to that, something else I'd like to mention is that if you wanted to not just display the alpha symbol, but if you wanted to display the beta, you could do that as well. So we can display beta. We can also display, like I mentioned, if we wanted to display heart, we can display the heart symbol as well. And when I render that, you're going to see that it shows up with these three symbols. Okay, but then let's go on to the more complex stuff that I mentioned, which is simply using the sim settings. So again, in this case, you can use sim settings or you can use symbol settings. And either of those would be able to do the same thing that you want to achieve. But let's go on to sim settings. And so for sim settings, you're able to specify the font styling for the symbols that you add into your document. And so in this case, the options for arguments that you have are the font size, the font weight, and the font color. And you can easily set them, and you have an example on how to do that here. So let's go ahead to our document and add something in there. Okay, in this case, I have set for the font color to be blue and the font size to be 40. Okay, and now from here onwards, all the symbols I declare is going to use that specific settings for each of them. And so what I'm going to do here, just to show you an example, is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. And so now that I paste it here, you're going to see that the first one doesn't have the styling, but after I apply the styling, from here onwards, everything else has the styling. And you're going to see that appear when I knit this document. And I'm going to go ahead and knit that. So now that we've taken that second step, now let's talk about trying to add all of this within the text, right? Because I think that one of the advantages of this package is the ease at which you're able to use these different symbols within your text, where you may actually need them and not having to write actual mathematical symbols like you would with MathJax. So in this case, what I'm going to do first of all is maybe add more, maybe duplicate this text so that it's a little bit longer. And so I'm just going to copy and paste. And in this case, you can see the text is a little bit longer. So maybe we can add in symbols within this text, right, in different places, so that we're able to, so that we're able to use them correctly. We're going to use the R2 symbols package again. And one way to do this simply is just by using your R chunk again. So R chunk, you can use that within the text, right? And for the R chunk, I'm just going to copy my symbol again and just leave that within. I can also do the same thing here. So let's say I wanted to do the same thing in different parts of the text. I could do that as well. Okay, now I have them added in different parts, and actually what I can probably do is make them a little bit different. So in this case, let's add just alpha, and in this case, let's add maybe just beta. And in this part, we can just leave the heart, and there are a lot of other ones you can use as well. So we can use, let's see, we can use a spade here. And so now we have them within the text, and you can do this for a lot of symbols. Now, alternatively, something you can do with symbols is if you wanted symbols and you don't know the names, you can visit you can visit my site, and when you go there, you're able to get the symbol number, and you can simply just use a symbol number. So let's say in this case you wanted to use a symbol number that is, let's say the symbol number is 45. You can just add it in there, and the R2 symbols package will be able to also recognize that. And in the same way, we can do similar thing within the text as well, and I'll be able to show you what that looks like in a second. Okay, I'm going to save and I'm going to knit. Okay, and you see what that looks like. Okay, so now that I have shown you how to use the sim or the symbols and the symbol settings, you can also look into how to use a symbol unit. So for example, if you have things like micrograms or picograms and things like that within your text, you're also easily able to convert that without having to do anything complex. Now, so for the last thing I want to show you is how to use the new functionality in version 1.1, which is the trans R2 symbols. And that simply transforms your entire HTML document using the R2 symbols. And with this, you would not have to go typing in the symbols specifically, and making settings and things like that. You can do all of that just in one. And the very simple way to do this, I am going to also make this text long. I went back a bit, so I'm going to make this text a little bit longer, and we can see more clearly again how to use this. So I'm going to use the trans symbol, and I'll show you the arguments that you need to call for that. So to use that, let's clean this up. You wouldn't have to do all of that. For the trans symbol, you don't need to call the symbol specifically anymore. You can just use the trans, and then within that you can make your settings that you would like. So in this case, I'm just going to make sure that the symbols come out very well and we can see it within our document. I'm just going to set the font size and make that a little bit big. Again, if you leave that as null, it's just going to have the same font size as everything else you have in your text, and so that blends in. So font size, I'm going to make that, let's see, 40. Font color, let's forget about weight for now. So font color, I'm going to make that, let's see, let's make it brown. Okay, again, that will stand out, so it's easy for us to see. And so in this case, I have already made my settings, and now I can start adding all the symbols that I need to add in there. And so let's see, I can go in here and just do something like that. So a very simple way to add symbols is just by using that. So if I wanted to add a symbol of alpha, I could just do this, alpha. So if I wanted to do beta, let's see, beta, I could also do beta. If I wanted to say do the copyright, I could do copyright. You could use copyright, or you can also use the short form. There are a lot of short forms that you can also use in this case. If you go to my website, you're able to see the list of symbols and how to call them. Now, if you wanted to use symbols in form of numbers, you can do that as well. So let's say we wanted to use a symbol that is number 113. You can also use that. And let's say we wanted to use let's see, alpha with the small symbol. We can use that. We can use beta as well. So let's use beta as well somewhere here. Okay, and now we've added, you see how it's simple to add all different symbols within our document without having to write any bogus sentence. And when this renders, you're going to see how simply the R2 symbols package takes care of converting all of that all in one go, and you're able to see your document very nicely as it renders. Okay, so I've added all of this, and I'm just going to need the document, and you can see what that looks like.